Hey everybody, welcome to Cheap Comic Collector. It's episode 451. Everything goes according to plan. It should be September 8th when you see this. But I'm actually recording this in August, just a couple days after my birthday. So thanks for showing up for my birthday party if you were there online. If not, you can go back check it out. We had a lot of fun. And today we're going to do something a little bit different. I'll be showing some comics, but I want to change up the channel a little bit. I feel like it's gotten uh, kind of monotonous, kind of predictable. I just show comics every day. They're the comics that are going to be in the claim sale, and we'll still be doing some of that. But um, I want to free myself up some to do other kinds of comic related videos. Whatever that may be. Um, so yeah, there's to be a lot of that going on. But there'll be some other stuff going on too. There's a couple things I want to change up. And today we'll be doing a couple reviews, and we'll get into some cool comics. But um, before that, I want to first announce that yeah, I won't necessarily be doing the same thing every day. So there should be more surprises in the claim sales because there are at least 1 or 2 days a week. I want to try some other stuff. Even if it's just going through a whole series or what have you, and maybe we'll do some of that and still get to the books. I don't know, but I feel like I'm stuck in a rut a little bit of doing the sales. So want to spread my wings, and but also one of the things I'm going to change is basically the trading program. If you're not familiar with the trading program, there's a link in the description of this video and every video of what that is and how it works. But I'm going to be shutting that down because not very many people are interested in it. There is one guy in particular who wants to continue trading, and I'll do that. I will reach out to him and we'll set that up. But in the meantime, I've got all these books. There's like 16 long boxes in this closet of books right now that have not sold in the claim sales. So good books, they just need the right pair of eyes on them. So I think what I'm gonna do is switch it up a little bit. Instead of doing a trading program, I'm going to list basically everything I've got that's not part of the personal collection as it goes through the sales, so that the stuff will be still for sale. Because I've had several requests. Do you have a list? Is there someplace I can look at what you have available? And I mean, it's basically just go back and look at the past claim sales, but nobody's willing to do that. So, so yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna probably still be on the same Blogspot site, but instead of doing trading, the stuff will be basically for sale. And it could be for trade if you still want to trade. But we need to set it up. It's not going to be the same thing where you just send me whatever you want anymore. That I had good results with that. It was fun, but nobody seems to want the current run of books. I've got like 2 full long boxes listed for trade, and nobody's done anything with it in quite a while. So, and so yeah. If you do want to trade, this is probably your last chance. Go ahead and check that out. See if there's anything in that list that you would want to trade for. If not, then in probably about a week from now, see, that would be like September 16th, something like that. Not that, September 15th, somewhere in there. I'll probably just shut down the trading program. And what I'll start doing is making a list of all these books. And that's going to be a process all by itself. So what I'll probably do is I will go live once in a while, maybe a couple times a week. Not counting the lives we already do. It could be depending on what my schedule's like. It could be at nighttime. It could be during the day. I won't. It's nothing I'm going to have scheduled. It's nothing I'm going to announce. Yeah, I'll just go live. So if you see me live on an unannounced video, that's what I'll be doing. Is I'll be showing the books and making a list of what I have. And if you want to hang out and chat while I'm doing that, that's great. Maybe you'll see something that you want to get, and and I can just add it to your stack if you're a current customer or whatever. But I don't. It's just something I want to move along. I've got so many of these things. I need to inventory them somehow, know where they're at, so I can lay my hands on that book quickly if somebody doesn't want it, and so I'll be like alphabetizing the boxes and so on and so forth on the stuff that I'm not keeping. So that'd be a little bit different, but kind of basically the same thing. So, but I do want to find other things for the channel to do, to be involved in. I've thought about doing like, oh, what's coming to the comic shop this week type thing, but yeah, I could do that from online easily enough, but I don't actually go to the comic shop. I don't have that much of an interest in the modern books, although there's some great stuff out there that's being published. And it just it would be quite a bit of effort to do that. So I don't know what I'll be doing, but I do want to mix things up some. So anyway, just wanted to share that with you. Things will be changing a little bit again. It's always good to kind of mix things up once in a while. And I am, striving to get to that 1,000 subscriber mark. I had a financial turnaround on my arcade business recently, so I I could really use some passive income since I can't go out and work. And the comic sales are doing great, and I appreciate that. Thank you very much. But it's nowhere near enough to make a living on. And yep. So, but every little bit helps, and so we are striving. And I think if I can think up some other kinds of things to do with the channel, maybe it'll draw in some more subscribers and so on and so forth. So anyway, let's get to it. Let's go top. Let's look at some comics. Let's have some fun. Speaking of fun, I just I didn't mail it yet, but it's sitting in the hallway waiting to go to the post office in a couple of days. I just put a package together to send to Higgy Pop, which I've been wanting to do for a while. So keep checking out his videos. That should be popping up one of these days, probably. Well, considering how far ahead I film, he's probably already done it by now. So by the time you see this, so never mind. I don't worry about it. It's you've already seen it. Duh, Rob. Time travel's hard. All right. So these are some books I've been reading lately. Haven't had a lot of time to read lately, so this is basically what I've read for like the last 2 weeks. It's crazy. But this one's Uncle Scrooge number 147 from 1977. And these are from my personal collection. These won't be going in the sale, but got kind of an odd cover here. It's it's Uncle Scrooge, but he's got this weird look, right? He doesn't he looks a little like Ludwig van Drake, just the way he's drawn. And I looked it up to see who the artist was, and it's not listed. They don't know. We don't know. Um, I mean, it's a cool cover and cool enough cover. But and I kind of like the way he looks, but he just doesn't quite look like Uncle Scrooge, and I'm not sure why. Maybe it's because the hat's not on him. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, you open it up. Got a cool ad here for Starstream, the new science fiction magazine from Whitman. And then you got a reprint of Mythic Mystery, which was a Karl Barks story. Looks like it was originally in Uncle Scrooge 82. And it's not one of the better ones. I mean, it's still Karl Barks, so it's still good. But it's a little far fetched compared to what he normally does because they actually have, he actually uh, uh, interact with these gods who are actually, on another planet or something. So yeah, Thor and so forth, Thor, Odin, and all that gang. And so it doesn't. I don't know. Those type of stories have never really appealed to me. I mean, I've read some Thor stories from Marvel and Hercules and all that kind of stuff, and they're okay. They're fun. They're good, but I've never. I don't know. I've just never developed a real fondness for those characters. And doubly so when they're in this kind of a story. That's just kind of a cartoon. It just that's just me. I don't know. I can't explain it because it's just me. But I think it's just not quite grounded in reality enough for me. But anyway, I dig the art, because you don't get to see Karl Barks' version of Thor very often. And yeah, I mean, just this panel of the three ducks, Huey, Dewey, and Louie thinking is phenomenal. Just the way they're drawn. I mean, it's just really good stuff. But like I said, not one of my favorite stories by Karl Barks. And part of it may be because it's kind of short too. Um, and then there's a one called Moneybag Goat, and I'm not sure if this is Karl Barks or not. I don't think so, but I could be wrong. Some of the panels, yes, some panels look to me like it is, and some panels don't. I'm not quite sure. But I think it's from the same. Like this looks like Karl Barks to me. This is earlier Karl Barks called Gift Lion. That's definitely his work on the Beagle Boys. So maybe it is. I don't know. I guess it is. Anyway, it's a pretty good issue. I think it's all Karl Barks. They just didn't have a number on this one, so I wasn't sure. And Donald's side look like in here just looks a little odd to me. But the rest of it, I mean, looks to be pure Karl Barks to me. So I think it is. He was just having an off day on Donald that day or something. But yeah, got some classic ads in there and just good stuff. And then this one, another Uncle Scrooge. This is number 112 from no date on there because it's a Whitman, not a Gold Key, but it looks like it's copyright 1974. This one was 17, copyright 1977. So this is later than 74, I believe. Because they would have been, pretty sure they would have been monthly at this point. And they say that the gold key and the Whitmans, that there's really no difference other than the corner thing, but the small print reads different. Um, the gold key ones have a date. The Whitman ones don't, and that's changed. It's different down here. I don't have a gold key and a Whitman of the same issue to actually compare side by side, but um, I can understand why for years and years and years Whitmans were kind of considered more of a reprint, although they say they're not reprints, that they were done at the same print run at the same time. It's just that they changed the plate to, for the toy store version, um, but I don't know. I'm not sure about that. I know that's what they say, but this has changed too, so I'm not sure. Anyway, this one reprints definitely a Karl Barks classic. This is Land of the Pygmy Indians. One they don't reprint very often because of the Pygmy Indians. But this was originally Uncle Scrooge 18. And Uncle Scrooge buys a plot of land from Sidewalk Sam, the real estate man. And he wants to get out of the smog and the factories and all the stuff that he's created by building up Duckburg. But he's sick and tired of it. So he buys a plot of land up in the North Woods. And it's supposed to be uninhabited, land of 1,000 lakes. But it isn't inhabited. They think this is a moose, but if you look closely, there's a ladder going up inside of that moose. It's a decoy. And so, their camping equipment gets sabotaged and so on and so forth. And they realize there's Indians, but they're little pygmy Indians that talk like Hiawatha, the poem Hiawatha. That's how they speak. In that manner. So it's a really good story. Uncle Scrooge has discovered hidden races before. This is a classic one, and I don't know what order those stories were done in. This was a pretty early one since it's from number 18. But good stuff. Just a great story. Really well done. And like I said, one they don't reprint too often anymore because they're afraid they're going to insult some pygmy Indians or something. I don't know. I really don't know. And it's long enough that it's the only story in the entire issue, but well worth it. So very cool. Keep an eye out for that one or some other printing of it. Well, great stuff. Great stuff. And then I'm actually in the middle of reading this because I've only read the first 3 issues so far. It's a 6-issue series. Paul Chadwick's Concrete, The Human Dilemma. I've talked about Concrete a few times recently, just in passing, but I haven't actually reviewed anything. And finally got around to start reading this. I was actually going to put it in the my collection boxes, and I realized I had the whole set, and I was like, oh, that's got to go in the reading pile. So I started reading it. It is done in black and white, but I especially like how they continue the drawing onto the inside cover. That's very cool. And these were published by Dark Horse. And Concrete's an ongoing character. He has a bunch of different series and miniseries and so forth. And they're good. They are good. Paul Chadwick is a fantastic creator. I've never read, I don't think I've ever read or seen him do anything other than Concrete. And I've only had a very little exposure to Concrete. This is actually probably the most I've ever read is these 3 issues right here. But every bit that I have read, I've absolutely loved. It's an adult story in the true sense of the word, that it deals with adult issues that really, either not suitable or would be very hard for children to understand. There is some nudity in it, but it's tastefully done, and it's not crude at all. It's very, it just deals with actual issues. And this is very thoughtfully written. It deals with basically the overpopulation of the earth. Um, Concrete gets involved with a guy who wants to uh, basically pay people to not have children, to encourage people to not have kids so that they are not they don't continue to overpopulate the planet. Um, and throughout the story, they have little factoids written in through the stories. Like this one says, seafood, world fish catch, 1950, 20 million tons. 1996, 120 million tons. It has since declined. And things like that. Just things about conservation, stuff like that. Um, this is just a factoid about basically simple financial math. Like $100,000 at 9% compound interest times 100 years is $552,904,079. Because concrete, basically, they don't know how old they don't think he ages. They think he's just going to basically live forever. So he was wondering what it would take to become a billionaire. And so they throw that in there just as a factoid. It's just and for some reason it doesn't take away from the story. It fits right in there. I mean they're out to dinner. They're talking about pizza. He's going to meet with the guy that wants to do this, owns a pizza chain of pizza joints. So it throws in the factoid that Americans eat 90 acres of pizza each day. They spend $19 billion on pizza each year. And it actually, gives the source of the quote. So, but meanwhile, the story's ongoing. There isn't any action to speak of. There's plot things that are introduced that are going to come into play later. And it's just very, very well done. I mean, if you want to read a story, this is a good place to do it. And there's some extra stuff in the back. This is an article that's written by Concrete, because that's what he does, is he writes articles and things. Yeah, and if you don't know anything about Concrete, he's I'll read this. For the new reader, life took an odd turn for Ron Lithgow. While camping, he was captured by aliens. They transplanted his brain into a massive rock-coated body and then departed. The world knows him as Concrete, sole survivor of a failed cyborg project. So far, the cover story has held. He lives in Eagle Rock, California, studied by biologist Maureen Vongut and aided by his assistant Larry Monroe. And that's basically all you need to know, and you can start reading the story. They talk about how this is Concrete's favorite painting. And then they actually use parts of that on the back covers and reproduce it. And it's just, the whole thing is very, very, very well done. I'm really impressed. Even more so than when I read a little bit of Concrete when I was in my teens. And then in the back they have something that he wrote earlier, Unicorn Isle Betrayed. They just kind of reprint a few pages of some earlier work that he's done, and it gives you a list of the different trade paperbacks you can get of the Concrete storylines. And I don't know what more I can say about the rest of the issues, really. I mean, I could go into the whole storyline and the subplots and the soap opera niche of some of it, and so on and so forth. But it's like I said before, it's very well written. It's very well drawn. And I actually haven't read most of the text stories. I just been reading the comic story. But great stuff. Yeah, halfway through. And for it not being a superhero story, it's amazing how much it holds your interest. Yeah, I'm probably gonna read the other 3 issues tonight if I don't fall asleep. The last couple of nights I've been I've been watching the announcements coming out of D23 because this is the weekend that D23 was happening with all the Disney announcements for what they're going to be doing in the parks in the upcoming years and so on and so forth. So I'm watching those with some interest and some some interest. And this was a comic I bought on Whatnot. And I basically only bought one comic. It was $1, and then the rest was shipping. It ended up being $5.62. So it will be going into mine. I came across it, and this was ending, and it was $1, and nobody was buying it, and I was like, swipe, bought it. Unfortunately, that's all he had for $1. He was basically, oh man, I lost my ass on that one. I'm not going to run anymore, blah, 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 blah. And he just started walking around his shop because he owns a comic shop that apparently is failing. Asking if anybody wanted to buy this, does anybody want to buy that? It was basically at full price with maybe a little discount, but certainly not any more dollar books. So ended up just getting the one. He did throw in this one apparently as a freebie. But cool. I'm this one can go in a sale. I probably already have this one actually somewhere, but this one will go in an upcoming sale. And then, but this one won't. I paid $5.62 for this, and I do like the Alex Ross covers. So I'll be keeping this one. I don't even know what comic this is actually. Mary Jane and Black Cat number 4 variant, obviously. So yeah, not the series I'm necessarily going after, but it was strictly a cover buy that I thought I could get for $1 and maybe sell for $2, but ended up paying almost $6 for it. So I was keeping it. There's an eyeball for you. What's going on? Does Mary Jane have powers? Is that even Mary Jane? I guess it is. Well, obviously, I have no idea what's going on in that story. But yeah, that'll be staying with me. Unless somebody wants to pay like, sorry, yawning. Somebody wants to pay like $10 for it. And then I got some comics here. I got a nice stack here, actually. Excuse me. Uh, I think I'm keeping all of these, basically. At some point here, I stopped keeping them for one reason or another. Well, basically because of my financial reversals. I was going to keep this entire stack. I got these. And then I have another stack here that I was going to keep as well. But with my financial reversals, I need to sell pretty much as I can. So I went through them a second time and decided to keep these and put these up for sale. So we'll get to these. I don't know if we'll get to these today or not, because right now we're going to look at the ones that I'm going to keep. But I wanted to take my time going through them. So we got Joker number 9 from 1978. The Cat in the Clown with Catwoman. Screenplay by Elliot S. Megan. Art direction, sets, and costume by Irv Novick and Tex Blaisdell. Produced by Julius Shorts and choreographed by Bob Rozakis. It always seems funny nowadays to see Catwoman drawn with that costume. It just seems kind of out of place after all these years. But got the ad for the TV series comics. Cool stuff. And I think I want to say this was the last issue of the Joker. But it says at the bottom there's another issue on sale during the third week in August. But I think this got canceled. I want to say this is the last one, but I might be wrong. I might be thinking of another issue. I get confused after looking at so many comics that sometimes I only take a brief look at and then move on. And there's the old Green Machine ad again. I've looked at that one before. It's so cool. But great cover, too. Circus cover. I mean, will there ever be circus covers again? Probably not. So I'm sorry. I'm just looking up. Yes, issue number 9. Yeah, that was the last issue. The previous unpublished Joker number 10, cover plus 17 pages, appears in Joker the Bronze Age Omnibus. Huh, okay. That's interesting. So if you think you have the complete Joker, you might not if you don't have the Omnibus. Then we have Action Comics number 438. Super thriller monster named Lois Lane. And these aren't in the best of shape. They're very yellowed and stains and rips and tears and so forth. But that don't stop us, guys. We like this stuff. Centerfold's tearing out. Monster Lois Lane. Who did this one? Carrie Bates, Kurt Swan, and Bob Oxner. Oh, and they got the Atom as a backup. The man who tape recorded the Atom. Oh no, don't tape record me. Nice house ad, letter column, cool stuff. Marvel 2-in-1 number 2, Thing and the Submariner, the Stalker from the Stars. Steve Gerber wrote it with Gil Kane and Joe Sinnott. Oh, so got the Marvel value stamp. That's cool. Foom, the Ultimate Fan Club. Foom, it gave you more in 74 and it's still alive in 75. The name of the niftiest fan club since Attila's Huns. And then Super Friends number 1, you knew I had to keep that. So I think I showed some of these in maybe one of Aaron's shows, but not this close of a look. Wow, the art in this is not very good. Who did the art? Rick Estrada. What? Rick Estrada, Joe Orlando, and Vince Coletta. So maybe just the fact that it was a team effort, it didn't turn out too great. Got the CBS Saturday morning ad. We've seen that one before, I think. But still, I mean, it should be drawn a little bit simpler because it's the cartoon. But there's no real life to the images, I guess. I mean, look at this. This is just weird. So I'm not impressed by the art, but it's cool to have. Here's number 2. Penguin's got a super robot. Ruh-roh. And this kind of continues from the last issue, it looks like. Oh, that's a nice, kind of a cool panel of Wonder Dog there. Wonder if this is still a group effort. Yep. Interesting how it kind of matches the cartoon, though, instead of, the way it's drawn. Instead of like what they would draw in a DC comic. That one's got some loose pages in it. Here we have Batman Family number 14. Got some spray paint or something up here at the top when they were trying to destroy it. Somebody wrote Batman inside the Batman letters and just scribbled the heck out of it with pencils and all the word balloons and stuff. Looks like somebody tried maybe flattening it out or something, but definitely scribbled on. Don Heck and Bob Wisek are the artists on Batgirl and Robin, the Dynamite Duo. I always thought that looked like fun. Those stories look like fun, but I haven't actually read I don't think more than one or two, maybe, of Batgirl and Robin teaming up. I think during this series, Robin was basically in college, if I remember right. Oh, that Kid Flash. Yeah. Brief appearance by Kid Flash. Is this Batman's Bureau of Missing Villains, the Zodiac Master. First and only appearance, Detective 323, 1964. And it's just like a little one-page filler thing. Okay. Interesting. And then this is Man-Bat. Howard Chaykin and Joe Rubinstein on Man-Bat. That's interesting. Early Howard Chaykin art. And that's it. I guess it wasn't... I was thinking it was going to be a giant, but yeah, it says giant. It wasn't that giant. It only had 2 stories in it. Action 453. Now that Clark Kent is out of the way, it's my turn to be Superman. Who says so? And Kurt Swan and Tex Blaisdell on the art. And another Atom backup. Danger, thoughts at work. And the cover is completely detached. Machine Man number 3. Nice Jack Kirby. Oh, look at that, man. That's cool. Oh, I'm going to have to put this in the reading pile because I read number 2 not too long ago. This continues from that. I remember getting Wonder Bread. We used to get Wonder Bread. It was like, sometimes they'd have trading cards. Sometimes they'd have like little, they used to have, I think it was Wonder Bread. They used to have little seed packets. So you could like grow vegetables and stuff, but they were like Peanuts themed. So there was Peanuts characters on the packages and stuff. I remember those. Long time ago. Looks cool. DC Comics presents number 5, Superman and Aquaman. Cool. Uh-oh. Looks like Lori Lamaris is in trouble. She got hooked by a fisherman. Yeah. Figures it's probably the Ocean Master's fault. I won't open up every single one or we'll be here forever, but Action Comics number 489. Extra pages with the Atom. Just kind of look at the splash pages a little bit, maybe a house ad or two. Let's go Jonah Hex ad for DC Spectacular. I'd love to find some of these issues of Amazing World. I bet those are fun and expensive. Probably very expensive. There's the Atom. What's this ad with the Joker? Milk Duds Super Duds Sweepstakes. Justice League of America 168. Yeah, I definitely shown these the other day on Aaron's channel. So it would have been a while back since you're seeing this. But oh, look at that splash page. That's cool. Or not splash page, but centerfold ad for the new dollar titles, right? No, not even that. It's got World of Krypton, All Out War, and Time Warp. So 2 of them were dollar titles. Marvel Presents Guardians of the Galaxy #5. Oh, I don't think that's all there. I don't feel right. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 32, 30. Maybe. 2, 4. Wow, those are thin. Holy cow. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Marvel value stamp 22, 24, 26, 28, 32, 4, 36. Yeah, it's all there, but man, I don't think I've ever handled a paper that was that thin before in a comic book. That's wow. I feel like I can, yeah, I can see through it. It's so, interesting. Action Comics number 493. Metropolis UFO Connection. And looks like it's just one story in this issue. Oh, got a Fred Hembeck cartoon and the Daily Planet, though. And ad for Treasury editions in the middle. And here's a 100-page Shazam, number 14. Cover is missing a few chunks here, but I guess I can live with that till something better comes up. Doesn't feel like it's even got a back cover. Nope, no back cover. We'll have to, that would be a good candidate for my printing out pages off the internet, I guess. There's a Batman Family, number 20. Looks like the same kid got a hold of this one and scribbled in stuff. And there's some red paint overspray when they were trying to apparently damage the books so they wouldn't have to return them or couldn't be used or resold or something. Nice wraparound cover with Ragman and Batgirl on there. Man-Bat. Oh, Jim Starlin cover. Cool. Enter the Ragman. 1978, I think it says. Yep. And here's another Shazam, number 31. Who's this guy? I feel like I should know who that is, but I don't know the name right off the top of my head. Minuteman. All right. Yeah, I've heard that name, but don't know if I've ever seen him in a story before. DC Comics presents 56, Superman and Power Girl. Gil Kane cover. I've seen a lot of different articles about like covers of this type where they say, "Oh, it's paying tribute to, Crisis on Infinite Earths." The cover, I think it's number 7, where Supergirl dies. That George Perez did, but I've never seen anybody show all the covers that were before that, that were basically the same type of thing. I bet you there's quite a few of them before it as well. Justice League of America 185. Is that George Perez? Starlin, Jim Starlin on the cover. This could be Starlin too. Nope, it is George Perez. George Perez and Frank McLaughlin. George Perez was such an amazing artist. I mean, every single character has their own look, you know? Great stuff. Action Comics 470. Terraman. Even Superman must die sometime. Guest starring The Flash, Green Lantern, and Terraman. Looks like this was a full story too. I always thought it was weird when they did crossword puzzles in comic books. Sandman number 3, Jack Kirby. Goodness. The brain that blacked out the block. Yeah, the brain that blacked out the Bronx. Wow. Say that 10 times. I couldn't even say it once. A lot of foldovers in here. Johnny West. I used to have. I know him and 2 horses. I don't know if I had anybody else or not. I don't think so, but I had 2 horses, so that was weird. Don't know where those came from. I think I think maybe my stepdad brought them home for me one day, or he got them like at a garage sale or something. Oh, I'm too young to remember where they came from. Or at the time, I was too young. Action Comics 484, 40th anniversary issue. Superman takes a wife. Apparently they're gonna set up housekeeping in the Fortress of Solitude. Wonder Woman number 226. It was exciting to find these. You don't run across too many Wonder Womans that are this early. I mean, this is 70s, but there's certainly earlier ones, but they're just hard to find. Because you demanded it, Batmania! And the new Green Arrow car. You guys remember that Green Arrow had a car? Me neither. And another Wonder Woman. This is 223. Nice little chunk missing there. Don't look at his face. The shock could kill you. Even back then, they were trying to trick you into buying their covers. Super Heroine number 1. Oh, it's the first issue. I better get it, George. $1976. Got Penguin, Batman, and Joker on motorcycles. That would have been so cool. Another Shazam. This is number 33 with Mr. Atom. Uh-oh. What's this? The world's mightiest mortal takes the lead in the Indianapolis 500 as he drives the fantastic lightning-powered Shazam mobile. So everybody went car crazy in the 70s, I guess. 60s and 70s. And let's see what a Shazam... Oh, there's a Mr. Atom mobile. What's a Shazam mobile look like? This looks like the same kind of art that was in the Super Friends. Is this the same artist? Same inker, I think. There it is, the Shazam mobile. Just in case anybody wanted to make a toy, I guess. Next issue, Captain Nazi. Oh, there's Mr. Mind. Well, at least they didn't have a Nazi mobile. Oh, there's number 30, Superman. Featuring the entire Shazam family. Superman must be... Oh, Dr. Savannah is reading Action Comics. Nice. Yeah, so I guess I just did the simpler art on purpose to say considered them their cartoon line or whatever. I don't feel like they need to do that. It's the equivalent of writing down to kids instead of, you know, challenging them. Kids know when they're being wrote down to, and I feel like the same thing would be true of the art once you get to a certain point. I like they had a Wayne Foundation building for the Mego characters instead of a Batcave. I mean, they probably had a Batcave set too, but interesting that they had a Wayne Foundation. Another Action Comics, getting some Action Comics goodness in my collection here. Number 463. Oh, this is the one where he gets punched back to 1776. That man knows how to punch. Oh, wow. Look at the art. Holy cow. This is Kurt Swan and Tex Blaisdell. Wow. People were asking recently on one of the shows I was watching, what's so great about Kurt Swan? And, on some levels, I'll agree with that because of the way he just kind of drew Superman the same way. Superman always kind of looked the same, muscle bound look to him, expression on his face, whatever. But look at this. That shows that Kurt Swan could draw, man. That's awesome. Cool. Oh, and I got some All-Star Squadron to fill in some issues. Number 47, number 12, number 25, and number 22. Cool. Action Comics 491. I used to have this one when I was a kid. I was fascinated by this one. I think this was one of the first ones. This may be my first exposure to Hawkman when I was a kid, actually. Not sure. I remember being fascinated by this one because they were fighting and they were supposed to be friends, and there was the JLA satellite, and I remember this robot guy too. Yeah, this left a pretty big impression on me when I was a kid. So this might have been one of my first superhero comics. What year is this from? 1979. I would have been 12. But I was probably reading a lot of Richie Rich and stuff before that. So this might have been one of the first superhero comics that actually impressed me. Shazam number 29. Prince Lucifer has made Ibak powerful enough to destroy the big red cheese. Now I'll become rightful ruler of the universe. Kurt Schaffenberger. That's a cool cover. Action Comics number 521. I believe this is the first appearance of the Vixen. The Deadly Rampage of the Lady Fox by Gary Conway, Kurt Swan, and Frank Giamatti. Oh, well, Vixen certainly looks different over the years. Nice slick ad cover in the middle here. I always was. I remember being impressed by this ad as well. And just seeing all the different titles and covers, because it was before I would have discovered like a spinner rack, probably, because they didn't. First of all, they didn't have very many spinner racks around at that time. I think there was. I remember seeing one in the whatever the drugstore was next to the grocery store we shopped at when I was a kid. And I remember there was one in the 7-Eleven in town. And that's the only two actual spinner racks I've ever seen, I think. Some more Adam and Aquaman in the backup here on this one. If I remember right, at some point they were switching places, back and forth every other issue or something. And this is Kazar number 12. And I kept this one just because it's so beat up. I didn't think anybody would want it anyway. It's really in rough condition. I guess I could put it in there and let you guys decide that, but I didn't. Another Action Comics, number 464. Got some spot stains up there. Superman battles the force field of the pile driver. Oh, that's weird. He's got green goo coming out of his head or something. It's different. Private Life of Clark Kent was the backup then. And Fantastic Four Annual number 15. Mr. Fantastic fighting alongside Captain Marvel must defeat the Skrulls Prime 10 or a galaxy dies. Plus a second all-new feature, Dr. Doom Lives. George Perez on breakdowns. And a crew of people on the finishes. Is that a Perez cover? Yep. I knew I liked it. Oh, the backup of Dr. Doom is his own story. Nice. That looks like a good issue to have. All-Star Comics number 71. Got some. Looks like the cover's been mistrimmed or something here. I was just bent funny over it on this side. But it still got mistrimmed. The number and stuff got cut off. See a lot of that in the 70s, it seems like. I don't know if that means these were like remainder issues, or is that why people get rid of them and they're so cheap? I don't know. Because I do seem to come across a lot of that. And the last one I'm keeping out of this bunch is Giant Size Conan the Barbarian, number 1, The Hour of the Dragon. Big chunk missing out of the cover on that one on the back. Roy Thomas and Gil Kane. Big Jim's Kung Fu and Sports Action Sweepstakes. Look upon King Conan of Aquilonia. These are so cool. Red Sonja. Cool. All right, so yeah, these are all going to go into the personal collection. So is this one. These are already there. This one's going to go in the sale. A lot of good stuff coming up, though, that will be going in the sales. So, let's see. Yeah, I've been going over an hour, so we're going to call it quits there. That's kind of crazy. I didn't mean to drone on for quite that long. But there we are. So, thanks for watching, everybody. I'll be back tomorrow with another episode. See you soon.